Megaman Battle Network Legacy Collection is Capcom's newest release onto the Nintendo Switch, but you'll also be able to find it on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox consoles as well. This is a true gem for those waiting some 20 or so years to play these games on modern gen consoles. And first off, I would like to thank Capcom for providing me a review code and the footage that you're seeing, since I spent all of my time playing this on a Nintendo Switch Lite. For me as a kid, this was a Game Boy Advance staple in my collection. I became a fan after the second game and only grew to appreciate the series even more as the years went on and more entries decided to show up. To say that the Battle Network series was huge is honestly an understatement. There were 6 mainline games, with 4 of them having 2 colored entries, kinda like Pokemon, a series spin-off set of games, a TV show, and so much more. So it's quite understandable why legacy fans of not just Mega Man, but Battle Network are ecstatic over this release. Thankfully, not only does it bring all your hope, but also truly builds on it by bringing back chips that were only ever available through special events, cards, and other means that we simply didn't get access to in certain places around the world. Then there's the online versus component being added in, which is a nice touch. On top of that, there's brand new added filters, small tweaks to UI, and almost flawless performance to round out this neat package. Story-wise, you're often playing as Lan and Megaman, his net Navi, something of a digital sidekick but more akin to a friend. Stop me if you've actually heard this or it sounds familiar. In the future, everything is connected to the internet, and cybercrimes and bugs are constantly on the rise, so Lan, with the help of Megaman, do their very best to quell the dangers of cyberspace and save their friends in the process. While cheesy at times, certainly there's some good moments to enjoy as the bonding between the two main characters grows throughout multiple entries. If you buy the game physically, all 10 games are available in the cartridge on the Nintendo Switch, something that we didn't get with previous Mega Man collections. Digitally, you'll find 2 separate volumes. The first volume includes the first 3 games, so that's 4 in total. The second volume includes games 3 through 6, which are all double games. Again, kinda like Pokemon, so there's 2 versions of each entry. Most of the time, you'll be spending your time helping around the town folks, figuring out the next danger, or talking to friends and several different types of NPCs. But of course, combat is what drove this series to have so many fans. Essentially, you're fighting in a 3x6 grid where only you have access to a 3x3, essentially half of the map. Enemies have their own opposite side. If you played games like One Step from Eden, you'll recognize this right away, since that game was heavily inspired by Mega Man Battle Network. That was a game that I reviewed a few years ago, just hoping that this collection would eventually make its way out and actually materialize, and boy did I get that right. On your grid, you're open to move as the enemy moves to avoid incoming attacks. After some time, the option to activate chips becomes available and can be considered your main skills. As you build up a chip deck, you'll have better or more powerful synergies at your disposal. You can choose to spam low damage ones or wait for huge powerful attacks. It's all entirely up to you. One thing making this even better is the use of the aforementioned chips that were only ever available at certain events that can now be activated and dropped in at any time. Then there's things like the blaster mode, which lets you do bonkers damage to kind of like farm and basically get rid of like the rot in some of these older games. Figuring out your strategy and using some of those chips in later entries and discovering new tactics and techniques as the new games introduce more ways to expand on the battle mechanics, and even trading chips from one version to another. It pretty much completes the entire package. It adds so much value and option to an already awesome experience. The game is available both physically and digitally on the Nintendo Switch, and while I'm not crazy at the $60 price mark, on sale this will be a high steal. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection is truly a fan's dream come true. While more could have been done to clean up the rough edges in some of the sluggish parts of certainly the earlier entries, the newer games fix so much of that, and the quality of life improvements with it brings pretty much a jam-packed art of options, like where you can actually check out art pieces, music, where you can essentially browse them at your own leisure, and it really does bring this package home. And just for clarification's sake, like I mentioned earlier in the video, pretty much the performance on the Nintendo Switch, especially on the Nintendo Switch Lite, is perfect. I never really had any stutter or any lag or anything along those lines. The text is good enough and legible on the smaller screen, but of course if you're playing this docked, or at the very least in the OLED, you'll have no issues whatsoever. Nintendo Sphere gives Megaman Network Legacy Collection on the Nintendo Switch an 8 out of 10. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.